Hey everyone, it's Victoria with Nutrition by Victoria, and this is going to be a part two to my latest video. Is our iron deficiency anemia hindering your results? Because I realized after I filmed that video is I didn't talk about how iron deficiency relates to fat loss. So I'm going to talk about that now. So basically, just to recap my last video, in order to have normal hemoglobin levels, you need to be taking in enough iron in your diet. And iron absorption is impacted by many factors, but it is enhanced through consuming a diet that's high in simple sugars, coming from fruits and also refined table sugar itself. I have experienced a normal hemoglobin level in this last year, particularly because I've increased the amount of refined sugar in my diet. I've also lost 15 pounds, and I think it all is related to my hemoglobin level now being within normal range. I can take in more oxygen, so then I can burn more fat. And so this is how it works. Iron is needed to make hemoglobin. Hemoglobin transports oxygen from our respiratory system, so the oxygen that we breathe in, it transports it in the blood through our red blood cells to the rest of our tissues and cells that require oxygen in order to create ATP, which is all the cells in our system. The only time we're not using oxygen to create energy is during anaerobic respiration, but this is very, very short-lived because our cells will die if they don't have access to enough oxygen. And that's why in anaerobic respiration, think about high intensity strength training or sprinting, you get lactic acid, and that's due to the anaerobic process of not using oxygen to create energy. So during the process of aerobic respiration, which is what all of our cells are dependent on for ATP or energy production, we need two primary substrates, that being oxygen that gets again transported from the hemoglobin to the cells, and glucose, which gets ingested from a high carbohydrate diet, fruits, sugars, and starches. So in order to how body fat burning comes into play in this process is that during periods where, we're in between meals, we're exercising, we're sleeping, our energy demands remain constant. So our body actually utilizes stored body fat, breaks it down to fatty acids, and fuels it through the TCA cycle. So in the TCA cycle, we have glucose, which drives the process, oxygen, which runs through it. So we have kind of like a chain system here where ATP gets produced. So oxygen gets run through oxidative phosphorylation, glucose runs through the TCA cycle in order to produce ATP. So in order to continue the TCA cycle's ability to transport what it needs to combine it with the oxygen to create ATP, we're going to also shuttle in fatty acids. But the trick here is that you can't just rely on fatty acids for your energy production. You need glucose to initiate the process. And there's also something called oxaloacetate that has to be regenerated in order to run the TCA cycle, and that gets derived from glucose. So this is basically how fat burns in the flame of carbohydrate. So fat is burning in the flame of carbohydrate, but also in the flame of oxygen. So when you're running a dietary fat deficit of, looks like 10 grams or less per day, you're allowing your system to tap into stored body fat to supply those fatty acids. So over time, you're going to lose body fat as you continue on this diet and lifestyle protocol. So the main point here is that you want your iron status to be normal. You want your hemoglobin to be normal. You want your ferritin level to be normal so that your body has enough iron to create hemoglobin, to transport oxygen, to help the system generate energy from glucose and fatty acids. When we're at rest, we're burning about 70% fat to 30% carbohydrate. During aerobic exercise, it's about a 50-50 split. And again, the only time we're not burning fat actually is during anaerobic respiration, where we're burning 100% carbohydrate, but we're not even using oxygen either. So it's really like an intense effort, but we're constantly breathing. So whenever we're breathing, we're burning fat. And in order to burn body fat at a high rate, we need our hemoglobin status to be normal so that we can maximize our intake of oxygen. And then when we throw fitness into the mix, and we are doing aerobic fitness like walking, jogging, cycling, and um, we're increasing our VO2 max naturally by just performing those activities and being consistent with them. We're now increasing our metabolic rate even further because our VO2 max is going up. So fat loss is directly related to our oxygen consumption. So the fitter you become, the more fat that you can burn. And vice versa, if your hemoglobin level is low, or if your carbohydrate intake is low, your metabolism is going to be low, and you're not going to be able to burn fat as efficiently due to the lowered amount of oxygen consumption that the body is experiencing. So I hope that that all makes sense. I talk about this in depth in my coaching program. If you're interested in taking the course, just click the link in the down bar and you can read about it on my website. I also offer one-on-one coaching sessions, and I have a private group coaching Q&A that I also run through Facebook if you're interested in, me helping to troubleshoot your results. So, in a nutshell, what I teach is all about enhancing your metabolic function based on your genetic potential. So when you put these principles into practice, you actually increase your metabolism and you become fitter, healthier, and leaner over time by just supporting your body's natural processes. So, make sure you're getting enough iron in your diet from fruits and starches and leafy greens, and have enough sugar in your diet to increase its absorption, and so that you can have normal hemoglobin, be exercising, to increase your oxygen consumption as well, and give your body the best chance to burn body fat that it can. All right, leave any comments or questions down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.